Very standard.
Yeah, Tomb of the Spider Queen is a very different map compared to Battlefield of Eternity. Not only does it have 3 lanes instead of 2, but also the map objective is a lot more globally present. So it doesn't really focus on one lane entirely like it does on Battlefield of Eternity. And that could allow Virtus.Pro to split soak a little bit more efficiently and to not fall behind that tremendously as we saw it in the previous game.
It seems like for a tournament like BlizzCon, there was a lot more off drafts prepared. Of course, we also saw many different regions coming in, like from little micro meta games that you can have in China because they play a lot against mostly Chinese and Korean teams. So they're bringing something new, but we see a lot more the safe road coming so far. ETC ban is quite special though.
It's not common considering what we've been seeing. Tassadar and Tyrande have been up there, Abatha's been up there.
I think we saw it once before today, ETC first ban. We had that ETC Diablo ban before.
Yeah.
And probably one of the most contested first picks in that tournament thus far is Kel'Thas.
Yeah.
Every team that gets the chance to pick the Blood Mage up is going to do so.
I estimated him to be the assassin of the tournament, and I mean, it's not really falling short of that. Falstad is actually following up quite closely a second place there of all players.
Yeah, even more so than Jaina almost, isn't it?
Yeah, well, definitely more so, I would say. Jaina is surviving to very late points in drafts here.
Sure.
I say surviving.
Yeah, it's surviving till a late point in the draft, sure. Now, it could be, with the ETC removal so far, Virtus.Pro could be playing a warrior game. They could be going here with an early Muradin.
Oh.
And
like a magician.
And
Tassadar.
yeah, it can work.
Yeah, they could even go double warrior here. It's kind of risky to open Sonya so early on because she can get countered, but if they want to play more aggressively than last game, that's one way to start off.
ETC is already banned. If they went Johanna or something like that now, then they could ban another warrior that they think is good. Those drafts used to be so much about picking one class and then prioritizing, but sadly, Grub is always right.
Only when I am.
Actually interesting, in the last game that we saw in Tomb of the Spider Queen, Johanna was ignored entirely. Even though she brings such great wave clear to the table, and even though she counters a lot of potentially dangerous heroes like Sonya or Raynor with her shield glare.
Yeah, the shield glare is quite short, right? It's like 1.5 seconds. It's not as long as Lily, but has lots of other redeeming functions, Johanna.
And we will have Sonya coming in now to round things out a little bit for Fnatic. So definitely a lot of power behind Sonya and Kel'Thas. They don't really need much more damage from that point on.
We're seeing a lot of Sonya, actually.
Yeah. I mean, she has so many quality of life changes and small buffs.
Yeah.
Triple healing on Whirlwind against heroes.
The auto attack after slam is a big one.
Exactly.
Huge, in fact.
And Johanna gets picked as
the
well.
The follow-through fix after the Ancient Spear.
Yeah.
So Johanna getting picked, goes back to the point I was making where Muradin's already picked and ETC is already gone. Virtus.Pro, they were going to have not just like a ban now, but also 2 more picks. So Fnatic wanted to make sure that they could get at least one of their favorite warrior at the front.
If they didn't get Johanna now and he gets picked or removed, what do they get left with? Like Anubrak Sonya? We've seen it before today.
Diablo Arthas.
It's not as solid. Yeah. Uther removal to disempower Sonya a little bit.
Yeah, because it seems also like when you have the next 2 picks, you're definitely a lot more inclined as well to kind of foresee which one you want to go for and then ban the other healer that you think is going to be ideal for the opponents. And there is already a Sonya with Divine Shield. Like there's not too many scarier prospects in Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah. Keep in mind that Divine Shield also adds movement speed, so Sonya becomes this raging bull chasing down your squishies. Quite scary. Now, what does Fnatic want to remove? Normally, Muradin, great counter to Sonya, cannot be removed. It was picked early.
If they want to play the warrior game, they could ban out like
I was going to say, what about a false step ban here to prevent the Mighty Gust from happening and just bulldoze your way in?
I actually like that. Seasoned Marksman, best map for it, hands down.
That's another huge asset.
Don't want to get blown away as you activate high-value heroics. Of course, all the heroics so far are quite short cooldown for Fnatic, so that's not really the issue yet, but still, like, once Sonya goes into Divine Shield, if she has no support, she still can't do it by herself.
And it will be Jaina in the end. Virtus.Pro was always well-versed with Jaina, and to rival something like the damage that they have on the other side, I think it's actually a good ban here, considering.
Sure, they got Kel'Thas, they removed Jaina. Virtus.Pro went for Muradin Tassadar, didn't prioritize damage, and Fnatic is punishing them for it.
Are they going faster, you think?
They probably have to, right?
Yeah, I think it almost has to be a foregone conclusion at
Let's
this
say
point.
if they don't
need
go
the damage.
If they don't go Falstad in these 2 picks, Fnatic could get it. And then what does Virtus.Pro have in terms of damage? Karazim damage?
I think you bring up a good point that Fnatic would take it, and then it's just too much of a very, very powerful composition here. Kayle fast, Sonya, Johanna.
It's Virtus.Pro though.
Is it time for some crazy picks?
What would be utterly crazy here? Sergeant
Well,
Hammer.
if I knew, it wouldn't be crazy.
I miss the good old Asmodan, to be honest.
He's too bugged right
Yeah,
now.
it's
Taste for Blood
such a
doesn't
shame.
multiply anymore.
Yeah.
He'll get fixed at some point in the next few weeks. Blizzard said they're aware of it.
Yeah.
It's going to be Raynor for now, a seasoned marksman monster.
Now here's the thing. Do we maybe see a single frontliner Muradin with Falstad and Raynor?
It's possible. Good.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
mean, they
yeah,
That
have
would be
yeah.
some great
They have-
disengage
they've
for
got
this
the
time
sustain.
around.
And they have
Yeah.
enough protection to back it up
Yeah.
by Tassadar and a heal monk.
Is it enough de-pushing though? Because if they play with this, they'd have to play fairly passive again
Yeah,
to
yeah.
some extent, and then Fnatic could definitely pile up like they did in the last game.
True.
Don't you think that this medic pick really hurts Virtus.Pro? They really don't have much
Yeah.
dive at all there.
That's their choice. The way they drafted Warrior, double support, backline sustain, damage dealer. Although you can
Yeah.
play Raynor as a backline assassin like Fnatic's backline, but that only works well occasionally. So that's a great pick, Morales.
Yeah, she's also excelling at dealing or healing damage against sustained damage. You know, her healing beam actually out heals most DPS heroes that are relying on basic attacks,
Especially Raynor.
Hey.
especially Raynor.
TRL is still available
It would be quite strong now.
for both.
Tyrael Sonya
Yeah.
as like the frontline with that would be very
Oh,
strong, but they go
Sylvanas.
Sylvanas. Ooh.
Cool.
Whirling Arrow, also like some good potential for pushing on this map, clearing out those waves.
Yeah.
Looks like Fnatic, like so far, in terms of drafts, they're maybe going to be dominating the turn-in in the middle of the map.
Wailing
a little
Arrow
bit more.
can get guaranteed kills on Tassadar, right? In theory, if it,
Sure,
it,
sure.
it doesn't trigger.
Guaranteed by Kata, yeah, once again.
It also prevents pressions, so
Yeah.
that's a really
Yeah.
important thing.
Now, Virtus.Pro needs damage, right? It's going to be
Okay.
Zagara.
Counter Zagara to make sure that the pet lanes can't get pushed too much.
Actually, yeah,
Who's got
whoever
the better one?
whoever has to lane against Zagara here definitely gonna struggle a little bit.
Sonya's okay though, right?
I think as team fights go on, though, surely Fnatic are just they're not gonna lose anybody. They have Morales where they can't get to the back of. How
Well,
are
I
they
mean,
gonna be able to get to the back of all of this?
Virtus.Pro's composition definitely has some potential.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, Virtus.Pro is going to capitalize on mispositioning
Devouring
really
Maw?
hard.
devouring Maw half the team while Raynor is taking care of the rest.
Yeah, yeah.
Could be really good.
Force wall, if anyone is ever out of position.
Force Wall's
But in
good.
reality, they're probably
and then
gonna get
following up
Whirling
with a
Arrow to
7-sided
kills.
strike is not unthinkable because they have enough support from Karazim's basic kit and Tassadar already. So isolating targets with Force Wall and then following up with 7-sided strike can actually be really good here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And there's no Divine Shield, so
Yeah.
kind of you want to focus Sonya in this comp and then hope that Morales steps too far forward and then switch target on her. And Devouring Maw can be crucial. And of course, with the vision, we don't have as much of an advantage for Fnatic in terms of the turn-in point control.
When are we gonna see Haymaker again?
It's pretty strong.
When China pulls it out again, that's when we're going to see it probably. It takes a little while for Europe to really kind of implement these
It got
things.
buffed and buffed and buffed. When will it be enough?
It is fantastic.
It's like
It's
a
really fun to
40-second cooldown.
And it makes the bowling noise.
Yes.
That's really good.
Who cares? Kata is
I do, I'll have you know.
Maybe if we start with 2 charges of Haymaker.
Whoa,
And then
whoa.
grab-
That would be...
All right, Kendrick.
He made the Haymaker more than viable.
loving the spares.
Yep.
That'd be beautiful. A beautiful thing. A beautiful thing. But still, are we still sticking with Fnatic here, considering, or do you see the glimmers of hope here for Virtus.Pro?
Let's see. If we're looking at the early game,
All right, it's too late, Grubby.
We're looking at it.
We're looking at it.
We're
It's
in
time.
game.
let's look at the early game and wait and see.
All right, let's go over to Todd and Kendrick for game number 2 here to see if Fnatic can move on to the winners match.
All right, let's see if Virtus.Pro can actually make that comeback happen. Sefkai here on the Raynor. We see Power of Dreams rocking the Tassadar. Unstable here on the Karazim. And BKB, of course, on the Muradin. And last but not least, we have Andy Landy here on the Zagara. On the other side, we see Fnatic in red. Quacknix here on the Sonya. In the back, we see Shad on the Muradin, and Sylvanas, pardon me. And Mene on the Kalthas here, Breeze on the Johanna. And once again, you know, these teams aren't messing around. I almost forgot Smexy style here on Little Temorales, of course, but they're approaching each other so quickly, trying to brawl a little bit, and yeah. Anyway, can't really be unhappy about it. So clearing the wave is of utmost importance in the early game because, as we know, Tomb of the Spider Queens is just a wonderful map for stacking, you know, regeneration globes and stacks for season marksman in general. But also, of course, you want to keep up the pressure lane.
Yeah. Talent-wise, on level 1, nothing out of the ordinary here so far in this game.
Yeah, no war paint. Yeah, exactly. No war paint on Sonya this time around. Shot of Fury, of course, a really good tool to ensure that you always have enough Fury to unleash hell on the enemy team.
And you do love to unleash hell on the enemy team,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Virtus.Pro, though, looking at their lineup, can they play less passive than last game? I think so. But is it going to be enough in terms of defending the turn-in and getting their own achieved? So far, they're looking to try to get in there.
Yeah, pretty nice stun here on Breeze, but as you mentioned before, Lieutenant Morales' healing beam is just such a strong asset, especially now after the scaling changes in the early game.
By the way, it's not Sonya bot against Zagara, it's Sylvanas, who's been struggling a little bit to quite a bit of damage, but so did Andy, I guess.
Sylvanas doesn't have the most easy time to actually clear creep tumors. She has to use her haunting wave every single time, and that's quite risky at times because you normally want to save that just in case you get ganked early on. So,
and as Zaga, you can definitely spam.
It's a good trade all day, every day if you trade a creep tumor against haunting wave.
Spam that Hydralisk as well to do a lot of damage.
And actually, the poison from Sylvanas doesn't disable Zagara's minions, so they will just continue to shoot you.
So basically, Zagara's doing good, He should be doing good against Sylvanas at the bottom lane.
Really good, Now, you know, Fnatic just trying to turn in the first gems. They successfully accumulated 13 already, but look at BKB trying his best to be a pesky, annoying little dwarf.
I'm so glad we see more and more Morales. I think it's really cool. It's such a cool hero.
And I've talked to Bakery when she came out, because Bakery used to, usually the source of knowledge that I ask about support since I main them as well. And he said, similar to Karazim, that he thinks she's viable. It just needs a little while for the scene to realize.
Yeah. We see Leeching Plasma come out on the Tassadar here at level 4.
Yeah.
And more or less going for the shields.
Wouldn't surprise me if Tassadar stick to a shield build here, also going for Callous Embrace. You can really protect your structures and buildings a little bit better for the first potential Web Weaver push. Really good. Oh, Mene now in a little bit of trouble, actually in a great trouble, falling. And this is actually more than Virtus.Pro has achieved in the previous game, I think after 20 minutes. Like, killing a member of Fnatic this early on is quite significant. And look at the overall XP
they're ahead
difference.
this time around. This might be a very different game if they're able to, I guess, keep their momentum going, get the first turn in, and I guess keep on increasing their lead here, ideally for them.
Absolutely. I love the advanced block here against the Raynor. I think Raynor alone is actually a reason enough for Morales to pick advanced block every single time. Gives you 3 charges of block, by the way, instead of the usual 2. Such a wonderful talent.
See, Breeze is getting his gems turned in here.
Yep.
Virtus.Pro almost has enough.
Quacknix knows no fear, goes right in here for the backline. Sefkaya surviving for now, though. But it's really cool to see that Quacknix, man, he knows no fear, going in like a true berserk. I am loving it.
Fnatic have a real explosive team. It's funny. Like, usually you wouldn't even go for the Tassadar, but they've kept him on pretty low hit points the whole time and pretty scared.
Indeed. So let's see the level of talents here on the side of Virtus.Pro. We see, of course, Echo of Heaven here on the Karazim. Really strong talent. And look at that poison burst damage coming through from Sylvanas Enter and Gwenham.
Rapid incubation, though. It's definitely going to be nice on the Zagara.
That's, in return, a good counter to the Envenom. You get poisoned, you just pop the rapid incubation, and you're going to nullify most of the damage.
Must have been reactionary here for sure.
Yeah, I think so too.
Power of Dream.
Oh, nice dimensional shift here. Power of Dream not taking any risks, using it the moment he gets initiated on by the Sonya.
Virtus.Pro has enough. But they don't get the first turn in. That's Fnatic who does.
Yeah, that might be their chance to actually close the gap that they have in terms of global XP right now. So really happy for Fnatic that they managed to do this. But Virtus.Pro, they're playing a very different style here. And this time it's actually Fnatic, and Mene in particular here, who is on the run, and he dies for the second time. Kalthus, he needs to be a little bit more careful there. And that actually takes a lot of strength as well from their current push. Without the Kel'Thas, they don't really have the damage that is needed to keep a strong push going. And not even Sylvanas can pull out her full strength. I think earlier when we saw Team Liquid play Sylvanas, Chris could do whatever he wanted. He was basically left alone, pushing with the Black Arrow all day, every day.
And right now, Virtus.Pro, they're gonna want to look to finish completely depushing here those Web Weavers, and then they're gonna try to go for their own turn in, ideally, to complete that and stay ahead if they can. Breeze shouldn't be too worried here with Johanna, able to make it out of there. 49 out of 50, yeah.
Wow.
They want to pay.
So close and yet so far. I mean, Virtus.Pro definitely needs to turn in as well because they want to make sure to maintain a healthy, solid lead in terms of level 10, which is, of course, going to unlock their heroic abilities first. I'm really impressed with Virtus.Pro so far, not taking any mistakes, actually getting good catches here on Mene, on the Kel'Thas.
Yeah, did a pretty good job of that. Let's see if they can get the full turn in. It seems like Fnatic, they fully know that they can't let this happen, but there is going to be a time here in a minute where Virtus.Pro are going to be level 10 against just a level 9 of Fnatic. And that's when they should be looking to try and get their full turn in quite easily. And if Fnatic was to try and deny that, they're going to get punished really hard.
Yeah, indeed. So who do you think, Todd, who is going to need level 10 harder or more? Which team?
I think it's pretty equal, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to come in really handy for both of them. Fnatic definitely has some huge potential in terms of heroics, I think, though.
There we go. We see the Force Wall and Tasser, by the way. No Archon this time. Karazim, he goes for the Divine Palm. So no 7-sided strike this time around. And that's actually a very nice thing to keep squishy targets like Reynor or Cigar in the backline a little bit alive, you know. It's very good. It remains to be seen how accurate the Divine Palms are. I mean, we've seen a lot of them miss already today, but I think Unstable has what it takes to land them.
Yeah, those Web Weavers doing quite a bit of damage. Virtus.Pro closing in on level 11, as Fnatic is still struggling to get level 10 here. We're seeing a very different game.
Oh, yes.
Of map
it's
number 2.
Almost as they flipped sides. This time Fnatic is on the defense, trying to hold their own to the best of their ability.
Steam drone again.
Okay, interesting.
For the Sonya, I'm guessing. Wrath of the Berserker.
Yeah, for the Sonya, I think Sylvanas is not that much of a basic attacker anyway.
Yeah.
So Sonya, you know, to increase her movement speed, similar to in Divine Shield, without the invulnerability component, though.
Let's see in a moment if either team chooses to fight. It's 66 gems to 46. Right now, Virtus.Pro could go for another full one if they wanted to.
Yeah.
Does Fnatic try to contest or not?
I mean, now is their chance. They've balanced out the talents. Both teams are now, you know, fully aware that they have heroic abilities at the ready. And Virtus.Pro, I like the confidence that they're showing in this game. Not, you know, not letting themselves get down here, but, you know, Quacknix, he's going in now, trying to land that Ancient Spear.
Oh, the Force Wall is going to trap him.
Isolating him, though. He needs to be on the retreat right now. Morales only arriving right now, so, wow, that was actually really well played by Power of Dreams.
Only 2 heroics here, Warriors. It was...
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Force Wall already came back. Avatar was popped. Wedding Arrow as well. They're going to go back
look
for
at
the
the burst
engagement.
damage. It was so much damage that Karazim actually popped the Divine Palm just in case to be on the safe side of things. And now they turn this around. A lot of damage coming into the Fnatic roster. 2 people dead already. And Virtus.Pro, they are on the march forward. The Hyperion even being enough to kill the fort in the middle.
And the walls.
And the walls.
Doing fantastic here. Virtus.Pro, that was a huge fight win here for them. They're going to get even more momentum here out of this. Get a full turn in.
Yeah, and look how quickly they rotate. Going straight top, not giving Fnatic any time to breathe.
That's going to be 3 forts taken out here in a second to 0.
Absolutely.
What's going on here with them? They really woke up here after map number 1 where nothing really ever went their way.
Yeah. I mean, you could really see maybe it's the battleground, maybe it's, you know, some tactical analysis after the game.
Yeah.
Whatever the reason, Virtus.Pro is just on a roll right now. Now having the 13 talents, Giant Killer on Reynor, ever so deadly. Also, we have the Relentless on Karazim, which is going to be a huge asset against, you know, the stuns that come from Sonya, Johanna, and Kel'Thas. So really great talent to have here as well.
Virtus.Pro, how much damage can they do here with those Web Weavers? They were already cleaned up in the mid and bottom. It's all about that top lane here right now.
They still don't have Sonya, though. She's moving up right now. Might be trying to flank just in case they want to fight, or she keeps split soaking in middle because they have to close the XP gap eventually and catch up in talents, but that's easier said than done because Virtus.Pro, they're not letting go. They want that keep, and with a web mirror behind them, I think they can do it.
Yeah, they want it badly. Could be overextending here, though, if Fnatic were to engage in a second. I think they're looking to try and defend this. Those Virtus.Pro properly pulled back. They use the Hyperion. That's going to help so much here with this. They're going to get it now. And I don't think Fnatic can engage. They're level 12 against 14.
Wow, very, very patient play by Virtus.Pro, and they realize that the Hyperion alone is enough damage to actually take down the first keep after not even 12 minutes, 11 minutes, in fact, into the game. First keep, that is brilliant.
So dominant here. Need to try and get yet another full turn in here. They've got so much. They got 50 out of 60 gems already.
Yeah.
That's so much. Just soak a little bit, get a few more ones, get another turn in, and keep on piling up. Never stop applying pressure here, Virtus.Pro.
Do you think they could have gone for the boss after taking down the keep, by the way? Or would that have been too risky?
No, that's a classic trope it. Maybe if they got like 1 kill or 2, maybe they can go for it then. But for now, I think like getting that camp, getting a few more gems, and then getting another turn in is much better.
Yeah, I agree here. So,
I mean, they're 3 levels ahead. In a second, they're going to be only 2 levels ahead and same talents, but 2 levels ahead. And with the vision that they've got, I mean, having a Tassadar, you know, you can use Oracle to properly place yourself pre-fight.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a great advantage that they're going to have.
And you have to play so carefully when you're in the shoes of Fnatic right now, because one false move and a Devouring Maw or even a Force Wall can be enough to isolate and expose your teammates.
I think they're in an impossible situation right now. If they don't fight, then Virtus.Pro will keep on doing more pressure and doing really well. And if they sit back, the same thing's going to happen. Web Weavers are going to come in, they're going to keep on being pressured. They kind of hesitate to try and go for a fight. And right now, they're being chased back. They need to disengage here.
Quacknix on the Sonya unleashing her fury, but it's simply not enough. VP, they're just too dominant right now, and just a tiny little bit of additional XP is going to be enough for them to once again have that bonus talent available. And it's almost looking desperate here for Fnatic. They just try. Oh, there we go. That's exactly what I was talking about. Please isolate, but just, hey, that was kind of cool.
Yeah. How did he get through?
I think if he would have played a fatter warrior like Diablo, he might have not squeezed in, right?
That would have been trapped forever.
So yeah, man, 16 against 13, usually not the best of news here. And you know, you have a lot of action going on in the middle right now, but at the same time, it's the Web Weavers that are pushing top and bottom as well. So I don't really know what to do in the shoes of Fnatic. They already lost the keep on top.
Tassadar went for second strike.
Yeah. I mean, they feel so confident. He doesn't even need to go for the deep shift.
For you.
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't even need to go for the additional defensive talent here on his dimensional shift. They're just confident enough to deal the tiny little bit of extra damage.
Gonna rely on Hyperion here once again. This makes it so hard for Fnatic to actually engage. Again, they're level 14 against 16. They just can't do much. Mexi style pulling back. Already very low on hit points.
So much blue stuff in the base of Fnatic already after 13 minutes and 45 seconds. I mean, they've lost the second keeper. Bottom is not looking too healthy. Anyway, only 1 tower left. And that means with the next turn in or with the next mighty push, they might actually have enough what it takes to kill the last remaining keep. Pardon me.
In big trouble. They're trying to stay in this. They're trying to soak level 16 here before taking any kind of fight. They've got so many gems, but they can't go across the map and pay them. And right now, Virtus.Pro is already threatening the next keep. I don't think Fnatic can engage here.
Fnatic, they need a miracle. They need a really good engagement, maybe an individual mistake from Virtus.Pro.
Can they fly to a turning point and turn in and then portal back on? Or die?
With a Medivac, but they don't have Medivac, right? They still have Stim Drone.
Yeah.
So
maybe they should have gone for it, knowing they were going to be so far behind Sevka.
Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Here's the damage on Sevka, but Karzim and Tassadar, they're real bros. They're not letting Jimmy die here.
Steam drones, it feels like a long-term investment. It's done absolutely not much for them so far, but when they can finally equalize those talents, it's gonna come in really handy here in a minute if they can get level 16. But when Virtus.Pro is closing in on level 18 this quickly against Fnatic, who's only on 15, I mean, I could just totally see them getting level 20 around the time Fnatic gets level 16, which is the dream for Virtus.Pro.
I think that is actually one of the greatest weaknesses taught here for Lieutenant Morales, that if you are behind by, let's say, 1 or 2 levels, both of her heroics feel very weak because you can't actually use them to swing a fight around, right? Unless, you know, or unlike an Uther, for example, which the Divine Shield is always going to be useful, no matter how far you're behind.
see Andy Landy is gonna. Oh, he dodges actually.
Really nice.
The gravity laps very nicely by moving towards the right-hand side.
There we go, breaking apart the last piece of wall here. Virtus.Pro, they are determined. They want to go in, and once again,
even if they die here, they've got 3 forts and 3 keeps.
Exactly.
They don't even care. They're just gonna get that keep.
And you can really see how powerful the Hyperion is, supporting your siege, your push, and they even have siege giants behind them, by the way. So even without the Hyperion, I think they would have definitely had enough damage to get this keep anyway.
That level 16 is gonna hit on the 16th minutes, Kendrick, and for Fnatic, and it could not come soon enough. They've been waiting for this for a long time. It's now or never. They need to go for a fight. If they don't, Virtus.Pro are gonna soak level 20, and they're gonna absolutely finish them off and wreck them.
And look at the double imposing presence. I think that's exactly what they need, though.
Yeah.
I mean, against the Zagara, against the Rainer, more dominantly, I mean, these are hard hitters. And if you slow them down just a little bit, that might actually be the saving grace for your front line.
The thing about Virtus.Pro, though, is that they're going to be very happy with just sitting back, playing it slow. They've taken down 3 keeps. If they see their opponents coming here, they can just pull back, but it's Virtus.Pro, so no, they're actually going to engage.
Breeze.
Because why not? They're 3 levels ahead.
Beautiful. This time, Johanna is not slippery enough to exit the force wall, but for some reason, Breeze is still doing quite nice. Huge devouring maw, though. This could be exactly what they need. The Stormbolt a little bit too early. All the timing, but is it going to be enough, though? Andy Landy very low in the backline, but so is Latana Morales, and the medic falls, and without her, the rest of her squad is going to crumble as well. Breeze is dying, and this is it. Virtus.Pro killing 2 essential members of Fnatic's lineup here. I think they're just going to go for it and tighten up the series 1-1. Let's see how determined they are. I mean, Kel'Thas, Chain Bomb's doing a little bit of work here.
But Sonya never really picked up any kind of momentum.
Are you serious? Are they going for the boss right now?
They're enjoying their win, man.
Wow. They're just playing super safe.
Well, actually,
here.
they weren't very high on hit points, and the timers weren't that long just yet, so going for the boss is just playing it safe here, while the lanes are pushing elsewhere.
Yeah.
Better safe than sorry, man.
There is no way for Fnatic to actually contest this.
That's like one of the few ways they could have thrown the game if they went for the core and failed.
But I think at this point it doesn't even matter. I mean, Virtus.Pro, they're scouting ahead really nicely. They have, of course, the force wall to block entrance to the enemy team. And now with the boss in their bag, oh, Quacknix, you're in a lot of trouble, buddy. You're not going to get out of there. Body blocks coming in. Very nice. He's still alive for some reason. And there is the first kill on the Rainer. And even Zagara looking pretty weak. I mean, Fnatic, they're fighting on their dying breath here. But the Golem boss, of course, it does not care about anything. It just pushes towards the enemy base, going straight at the core because there are no more keeps to defend. And rip Sonya. Yeah, and I think that's pretty much all there is to say. I mean, the boss is not impressed. They're throwing out the GG. The core is going down to 40%. And I think we've seen a wonderful comeback here from Virtus.Pro, making it a little bit more exciting after all. And I know you like those guys, especially BKB Todd. So you must be a very happy man right now.
Yeah, I like both teams. I mean, they're really cool guys. You know, got to hang out a little bit with them in Prague, and really happy to see them play such a close game as well. Because it really goes to show that they've got potential, and they're a good matchup for each other as well.
Yeah, I do agree. And it is just good for their soul, for their morale, you know, keeping the spirit high. It really shows them that they can hold their own against one of the best teams in Europe right now.
Morales is good for morale, yeah.
Yeah, I like it. It was good. It was good. Latana Morales not, I think, was it the first game that Latana Morales lost, actually?
Ever?
No, today.
Yes.
Well, but she lost in the previous game before that when they tried Steam.
That is true. That is true. Man, memory like a goldfish here. I am sorry.
Short-term memory. It's okay. We all have it.
Was a good game. 0 kills for Fnatic.
It was almost the exact reverse.
They got one in the end, but it didn't really matter anyway.
I mean, the thing is, it was almost the exact reverse, right? I mean, Virtus.Pro didn't really drop the ball in that game, similar to how Fnatic didn't drop the ball in the first game. So quite the dynamic, considering, to be fair. I mean, I am also a little bit skeptical of how well Virtus.Pro can do here, and they kind of proved it wrong in that game.
It seems like Virtus.Pro is playing really well when they have Tastadar on their team. Back when Gulla was a sub for them, they also always had her playing Tassadar. Now Power of Dream, the new player playing Tassadar. He went from playing Murden, as you pointed out just now, to now playing Tassadar. Huge difference. And he looks a lot more comfortable on Tassadar. Look at that force wall there after that Devouring Maul with a lot of damage. Feel like they could have almost gotten Quacknix, but the Stim Drone actually saved him.
They were trapped for quite some time. The Hyperion came in really handy actually this game, but I guess they had so much. They're riding so much momentum. I like what you mentioned about the Tassadar, but I feel like this is something that us as caster and like avid Heroes watchers, we are gonna pick up on, but they're not as a team gonna pick up on it nearly as much, and they might not even realize it that they're doing much better with Tassadar.
I don't know.
There is the potential of that. I've seen it in the past with some teams. They somehow haphazardly just get the same draft over and over, and they don't even realize that they have such a good win ratio with this particular draft. So it definitely has happened in the past.
They were so quick-paced, like it was just working. They kept going here and there, and just every time Rainer, Hyperion, things die, things fall, kept everyone alive with that combination of Tassadar as well. And one really cool thing is like they had Tassadar and Zagara, lots of vision. It looked like they constantly knew how to rotate, where to go, to push buttons, to do damage, not die. That vision is making them play a whole lot better.
Especially on a map like Tomb of the Spider Queen, where vision is key, and it's really easy to get vision, especially with a Zagara and a Tassadar, because the distances aren't really that great. If you position yourself very well, you can cover a lot of area with both the Creep Tamer and the Oracle.
And it comes back to what you said actually earlier in the broadcast. It's like, do you want to spend that mana early game denying this vision, and then by the time you even get to a healthy mana pool, by that time you've got 100 gems and you even can't get close because your opponents have already turned in several times.
It's actually a really safe bet on that map.
Yeah.
Almost as if this map should be renamed Tomb of the Zer Queen. She's a queen, technically. Is that
She looks very similar to the Web Weavers too. I call conspiracy.
Wow.
And she used to be first pick on this battleground. It's only like the Tyrande is so highly valued here, but she used to get picked all the time. Even back when ETCs were playing stage dive on this map. So you just had vision all around the pain point. If anyone did get through your web, you just stage dive on them, engage, and finish them off.
I mean, in theory, you could say that Zagara is just a healthy choice in general, almost on any map, because she does win that one lane almost 99% of the time, unless she's against a Chen or something like that. And then the vision is a nice bonus, healthy bonus. But here on Tomb of the Spider Queen, obviously, it is more about that vision than anything else.
And less about the solo lane, actually. Like, there is no solo lane on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Every lane is a 5-man lane.
Yeah. It's crazy. You're like, well, I've got to be careful of this bush. Oh, they've got an ETC, power slides out. He's in the middle of the lane, no. So it can hurt a lot, definitely.
So what battleground are you trying to go for when you're playing as Fnatic? I mean, Dragonshire is very similar sometimes to Tomb of the Spider Queen because you clear lanes very fast during the early game. You have heroes like Zagara dominating a lane potentially. So that might not be their choice or their first choice. What do you think, Ravi? Or
I feel like the maps that are as opposite to Tomb of the Spider Queens as possible is something like Blackheart Bay, where like rotating just works completely differently. You cannot like do that kind of double, triple roaming squad at all. So Blackhearts, we haven't seen it yet at all today. It's actually a very powerful snowballing map. It's almost like no team likes to play on it.
On the other side, though, if you're Fnatic and you believe yourself to be the better team, is there legitimacy in saying, okay, we'll go to something like Cursed, where we think that this is very... something that where you just challenge your opponents in usual team fights like that?
Tomb of the Spider Queen, Curse, and Dragonshire are like the three maps where like if you think you're better, you just like pick that and outplay your opponent straight up. If you have something special planned, it'd be more like Garden of Terror, something like that, Blackheart Bay.
All right, well, we are getting into this draft in just a moment here. Fnatic is ready and good to go. We're just waiting on Virtus.Pro for the ready on their side of things. But good for Virtus.Pro, really, to kind of at least even get themselves a game here and keep themselves alive in a very, very high-stakes group. I mean, again, we've had Team Liquid and G2 already play, but nobody particularly wants to go down to that lower game to face off against G2, who, fell to Team Liquid, of course, but they're still a very, very posing threat here.
Very interesting choice. We see that Infernal Shrine is going to be the next map. So with the Punishers, we have a very, not really a similar, but a kind of similar objective to the Immortal on Battlefield of Eternity. So and that might be a thing for Fnatic when they fight around static objectives, right? To prove their dominance once more.
They may even pull out their little secret weapon here, considering it's quite powerful on this one. But we'll see as we get into the draft.